Howdy there, neighbors and friends. I am Just Rob, and today we are closing out the My Manga collection series with a bang, I guess, or in this case, box sets and other stuff. Can't believe it's been a month since I started doing all this. This is nuts. Let's just start talking about manga. Up first, you all recognize these books. Up first, The Legend of Zelda manga box set. I've had this box set for a while now, and the first two that I'm going to talk about, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Parts 1 and 2, I talked about heavily in my top 10 manga of all time video because these were considered my two most favorite manga of all time. Clearly that's changed, but still. I love these two books so much because, as I have stated before, it's like DLC in book format. We learn so much more about Link and the story of Ocarina of Time, and there was a few heartbreaking moments within these two books that really just make a lot of the story a lot more interesting and a lot less bare bones. Hey, Link, you gotta go into that temple, you gotta defeat a gigantic boss so we can all survive and not be dead. Fuck Ganondorf! The combined art and story writing talents of Akira Himekawa really shines through with these two books, and there's a reason why they're my favorite, because I honestly feel that they are the best out of the collection, aside from one other one. That other one being the manga adaptation of my favorite Legend of Zelda game of all time, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. One of the things that I really love about this book is, yes, we get to see a manga version of the story of Majora's Mask, but they actually included a bonus story showing the non-canon backstory of how Majora's Mask actually came to be. It's pretty interesting, and yes, it's not canon, but, you know, I like it, and I'll consider it canon in my own world. It's fantastic. Even though these are not directly related as in parts 1 and 2, up next is The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. Now, as a kid, I only had Oracle of Seasons. I never bought Oracle of Ages, mostly because it was sold out, and my friend had Oracle of Ages, and we connected ours together so we can get the final ending where you fought Ganon. In terms of how this was translated from video game to manga, again, it was done very, very well. A lot of the characters were given more screen time, I guess you could say, and we got to see a little bit more into the inner workings of each and every character, including Link. Up next is The Legend of Zelda The Four Swords Parts 1 and 2. Now, these I haven't read as much as I have the first four, but they're still very good, and it showcases Akira Himekawa's artistical prowess. Going from Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask to Oracle of Seasons and Ages was a big step up, but going from all of that to a slightly more cartoonier Zelda art style was just as good. And even though I only played the Four Swords Adventures maybe once or twice all the way through, and I never really played the multiplayer games for these too much, I do own them, it was very well done, and I do like the updated backstory for the main villain and for all four of the Links, and I also like how they were all given different personalities. Up next, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. Again, we got a brand new art style, brand new-ish. One of the things that I like the most about this book is the banter between Link and Eslo. Eslo's a wisecracking, green-hatted, bird-beak-having motherfucker, and that's just expanded on here. I do feel that there are a few parts in this book that should have been explained upon a little bit more, and a couple things from the game that I think should have been in there, but overall, it's a good book, and I do enjoy it. Up next, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Look at that artwork. Oh my god, it's like the official... Oh, so good. This personally rivals the Majora's Mask manga. When it comes to art, out of this fucking world. When it comes to the novelization of what the original story was in A Link to the Past... When Link finds his uncle and his uncle is dying and he tells him about his parents... Oh, so many feels... So good. Very fantastic. Like I said, rivals Majora's Mask in terms of my second favorite. And last but not least, the one Zelda manga in this collection that I have barely read, and that is The Legend of Zelda, not The Wind Waker, but Phantom Hourglass. Now, not to say that this is bad. I do enjoy the art, and I do enjoy the story. I was just kind of hoping that this would have been Wind Waker. I really would have enjoyed a lot more of Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker in manga format. Granted, that's a really, really, really freaking long game. I still have hope that we'll get a Wind Waker series. We are getting the Twilight Princess manga finally here in America. Got that on pre-order, and you bet your butt I'll be talking about it on here. Sorry if it seems like that I zip through these. It's just there's a lot of books and a lot of things to cover today, so Here's the box set, all complete, all in one. Let's continue on. The next 3 books that I'm going to be talking about, I'll admit I kind of have been letting them slip along as I've returned to manga. There's a couple of volumes that I still have to get for 2, and the other one is just continuing on probably until I'm 35 or something like that. First off is Bleach. Bleach was a major hit when it first came out in Shonen Jump. At that time, a lot more kids in my class were reading Shonen Jump, and this is one of the very first solo manga tankoban, as they're called, that they ever bought. Granted, they didn't follow up with it much like me and a couple of my other friends did, but Bleach silently became one of my school's favorite books to read. Hell, it even got to the point where the manga was available in the library. They were cool and they were hard-covered and everything. It was really cool. As of now, I only have 62 volumes of Bleach. I know there's 6 or 7 more that I have to get. I'll eventually get them and I'll eventually read the ending to the series. It's just gonna take me a lot to really want to go through all of those volumes again. One Piece. Now, One Piece is the series out of the 3 that I'm going to be talking about right now that I still have interest in finishing. It's just, I am probably 45 books behind with this. The last volume I got was volume 74. I don't even want to think about what number they're on right now, and apparently this is going to go on for another 10 years, which is good, you know. I'd like for this to end sometime soon. Please. I'm running out of room, Mr. Oda.
Please?
Naruto, yeah. I really fell off the boat with Naruto. Not all that excited reading it, not all that excited talking about it. I really don't like the anime whatsoever. I can't stand it. I don't know, it's just one of those anime that I really just don't like. I think I got to episode 40 or something. I'm I've read this and reading it is so much better. I don't know. I probably sound like a hipster asshole right now. I don't know. I just don't like animated Naruto. I don't. I don't. There's 4 or 5 more volumes I have to get. I'll get them. I'll finish it. And that'll be it for me in Naruto. Fuck Boruto. Fuck the planned live action movie for the... I literally just 0 interest in Naruto. Sorry. Up next is a romantic comedy that really takes it up a notch. And this romantic comedy is titled Pretty Face. Now, this is the main character, but the main character is a dude. That's actually what he looks like. He doesn't look like a devil or anything. That's what the main character used to look like. Basically, the main character is one of those assholes with a nice tender inside to him. He has a crush on a girl, being this girl right there. And one day there's a really bad bus accident. He is presumed dead. He isn't. He was just horribly disfigured. He wakes up a year after that, losing most of his muscle mass and having a very frail diaphragm to him, so he looks like a girl, not just from the body aspect, from the face aspect. Turns out his ID had burned up in the bus crash, and the only thing that wasn't burned was a picture of the girl he has a crush on. So it's become his mission to find a picture of himself, which is apparently really hard to do because he was an asshole. Everybody wanted to forget about him. It just so happens to happen that the girl he has a crush on has a twin sister, so he starts living with her because his parents moved away. They couldn't take the grief of knowing that their son is gone. It's dark, it's funny, it's got that classic etchiness to it. It's a very good series, only 6 volumes long, and I recommend it, especially if you like etchy stuff, especially if you like romantic comedy. And this is fucking funny. There's some feels though. Up next is a series that means a whole freaking lot to me. I started watching the anime in the summer of this year because the creator of this series actually directed Shin Gojira, and I pretty much just gave that away, but this is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I must have watched the anime 2 or 3 times. I watched the movies a whole bunch, including Death, Rebirth, and all that. I just kind of told myself, okay, Bob, you gotta read the manga. I have 2 volumes of the collected edition of this, volume 1 right here and volume 2 on the shelf, and I gotta get the rest of them, but wow, this is fantastic. I fucking love it, and the art is just perfect. Literally, line for line, perfect. Now, it was interesting to find out on certain pages of the book, there's actually interviews from Hideaki Anno and a couple of members from Gainax, the studio that produced Neon Genesis Evangelion. It was actually interesting to find out that Studio Gainax was totally behind this adaptation. It's even more interesting to find out that a lot of the stuff that's present in the book and not in the anime was stuff that was cut out from the anime because, as we all know, Neon Genesis Evangelion had a very, very low budget, as we can tell by the final 2 episodes. So it's interesting to kind of see semi-alternate version of the anime in book form. Really got to get the rest of these. Up next is Scott Pilgrim. Now, I won't be taking the books out of this just because it's so tightly knit and I really don't want to bend anything, but that works out for me because I have all of them hardcover and in color right here. I love Scott Pilgrim. I actually started reading volume 1 a couple of weeks before the movie came out, and I honestly just couldn't wait to go see the movie, so I pretty much knew most of what was going to happen. But what I love about the manga is that everything that wasn't in the movie obviously is present in the books. Oh, it just makes me love the books even more, and the color and the art in here is just fantastic. Brian Lee O'Malley sure as hell knows how to tell a good romance story, and the action and the video game references in here, just the likability of the series, and it's just God, what can I say that hasn't been said about Scott Pilgrim? I love this, and oh man, what I would give for a love like Scott and Ramona, minus the 7 deadly exes and all that, and the breakup and mind control and ex-boyfriend as a cat. Anyway, the final 2 books I will be talking about are also by Brian Lee O'Malley, and one of them is the re-release of his story, Seconds. Now, I bought this solely because it has Brian Lee O'Malley's name on it, and I wanted to read more of his work that he did before or after Scott Pilgrim, and this story is fantastic. There's actually rumors going around that there might be a movie getting made about this, and animated or live action, I don't care. I want to see a movie of this. This is also like the hardcover Scott Pilgrim books, all in color. Now this story, holy shit! Magical mushrooms, ghost girls living in your sock drawers, opening a restaurant, love, kinda. It's just really, really weird, very original, extremely different. If you've read Scott Pilgrim, you gotta read this. Scott and Ramona actually make a little cameo in there. Highly recommend it. Please check this out. And last, but certainly not least, is Brian Lee O'Malley's tale called Lost at Sea. This is another hardcover with very minimalistic color in there. I really like that. Lost at Sea is an emotional tale, I guess I should say. It has a lot to do with mental issues about how the main character feels about herself and how she's dealing with a certain element in her life, dealing with things that had happened previously. Very emotional, very strong, and a thumping good read. I could not put this down the day I bought it. I read it twice the day I bought it because I'm just like, holy fucking shit. God damn it, it's so good. Very good story. Would recommend it. We just need more from Brian Lee O'Malley in the world. We really do, and I really hope that Seconds movie gets made. Well, everybody, I hope you have enjoyed all 5 of my manga collection videos. It was really fun talking and nerding out about manga this past month, so I figure I'll continue that in the month of March by talking about anime. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if it's gonna be a list video or if it's gonna be me just talking about anime that I've watched or planned to watch. I don't know just yet, but I will think of something soon. I do plan on doing more videos based around manga as the months go on, but until all of that, until the month of March, until the next time I make a video, I have been Just Rob of Crazy Calyx, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.